Yo, what's going on? Y'all hold on real quick. This thing is blurry as hell. All right, looks better. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Take a couple minutes out. I want to chop it up with y'all in between seeing patients, and I think I have a couple minutes before I go back in and see this next patient. But for those who don't know, my name is Edward Williams. I am the founder and creator of Health by Any Means Necessary. I'm also one of the coaches for our 28-day challenge called the Fast Life 28-Day Challenge. It is a great challenge. We've literally poured our heart and soul into this challenge, this program, and we are getting great results. So it's been a beautiful experience altogether. So what I want to get on here and talk about is, if not now, then when? Many times, too many times, I will hear patients tell me, or people I know, family members, tell me that they're going to get started, next year with something dealing with improving their health. And this is pretty common when you hear it around like Thanksgiving, Christmas time, when it starts getting to the end of the year. People say, I'm going to wait till the New Year's to start doing that. And I get it. I understand why people tend to believe that it's best to start it on a newer year, right? I get it. However, when it comes to health and deterioration has no idea about the new year. Health and deterioration has no idea about your little, hold on real quick. Health and deterioration and disease has no idea about your calendar. No concept of Monday, Sunday, no concept of a New Year resolution. It has no concept of a new quarter. It doesn't care about that. When we're talking about the disease process, it does not care about your little schedule. And so this idea that there's a perfect time to start improving your health, I challenge that. And I would tell you to also challenge that and to shift that paradigm, shift that thinking, because how do you even know that there'll be a next year? How can you even ensure that there'll even be a Monday for you? We don't know. And so this idea of thinking that you can schedule your health improvement based on the calendar, it needs to be rethought. It needs to be challenged. Ultimately, it needs to be thrown in the trash can, as far as I believe. Now, I understand there's certain things about improving your health that should be scheduled in. If you're looking at, working out and going to the gym, all right, yes. If you can only work out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, okay, that's something that has to be, you have to wait on. If it's a Saturday, you have to wait on Monday. I get it. But what can you do to modify that equation where you can actually get started today? You can do some sit-ups right now in your house. You can do some push-ups right there in your house. You can also take a walk. But that's besides the point. Like I said, I understand that there's some, variations to it. But also when we look at something such as eating better, eating healthier, once again, we think that we can just kind of splurge during a certain time of the year, during a certain time of the week, or the weekend, or anything like that. Eat as much as possible, eat as bad as possible, and then on Monday, I'm going to start eating better. We have to challenge that as well too. Because that's not a good way to go about improving our health. So let's talk about the price of procrastination, because the reason why it's not a good idea to just push something down or to kick that can down the road. The reason why it's not a good idea to just push off, improving your health into next year or next quarter is because a condition called insulin resistance could care less about your calendar. Prediabetes, diabetes, atherogenesis, all these things can care less about your idea of waiting to improve it. Because this process, especially insulin resistance, knows that every time you take in a meal that's high in carbohydrates or processed carbohydrates, let me get the language right, refined carbohydrates, processed foods in general, trans fats, it's going to progress. It may progress by a little bit, it may progress by a lot, but nonetheless, it's going to progress. And so this is like being on a battlefield, or let me not make it so serious. This is like being on a football field, right? And everybody starts off at the halfway 50-yard line, right? Well, if your goal is to get to that touchdown so that you can achieve your health goal, I need you to know that every time you are eating the processed food and thinking that you're going to get to eating healthy, later on down the week or next month, they're advancing closer and closer, and to the point where they're in the red zone. Now, excuse my football terminology, because even though I played 2 years of college football at University of South Florida, I haven't watched it since 2007, so my terminology is a little rusty. But if they're progressing that ball down the field called disease and sickness, and you're still waiting until next year or the New Year's or Monday to get started, or spring or summer to get started, yeah, you might stop them when they get to the 20-yard line. You might stop them when they get into the red zone. But if you stop them, they can just kick a field goal, right? They can just kick a field goal, and most field goals are successful. So you're rolling the dice, you're taking a chance, and it's not a healthy chance that you're trying to take. So what I would say is, instead of pushing these things off to the perfect time, which there is no perfect time when it comes to improving your health, the perfect time is right now. Because once again, you don't even know if you're going to be around next year, because of something that you may be ignoring right now. Insulin resistance is the foundation for most of these conditions that we're dealing with in our community. Insulin resistance is the foundation for prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, PCOS, gynecomastia, hypogonadism, obesity, so many things. And once again, the longer you wait, the more it's going to advance in fatty liver. That's really what I want to get to. So insulin resistance is the foundation for fatty liver, or actually vice versa. And so when you start to develop fat in your liver because of the foods you're taking in, fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver, only exists because of the foods in a drink. It only exists because of the foods in a drink. When you start clogging that liver up with fat where it doesn't belong, it's called ectopic fat. When you start allowing that to take place because of the foods in the drink, your liver's not going to function or at an optimal level. The function of the liver will continue to go down and go down, go down. The liver is essentially your body's filter. Well, it's one of your filters, because you have several filters, but the liver is one of the largest filters in your body. And so if you have a dirty filter that's trying to clean fluid, if you have a dirty filter that's trying to clean fluid, how clean is that fluid going to be? And how important is that if that fluid has to now sustain the 37 trillion cells? That fluid will never be clean. In fact, you're going to get a lot of the impurities coming from the dirty fluid into the quote-unquote cleaner fluid. And those impurities will now be fed to the trillions of cells you have in your body. And so this is a process that's only going to progress the longer we choose to stiff arm and push back the improvement. So fatty liver is something that the longer you've had it, the more work it takes to actually reverse it and to deplete that liver of the fat. So it becomes a expensive price to pay for something that you can get started on today. I'm not saying you got to do a radical 180 in one day, but to sit there and continue to drink the juices, the sodas, the very things that are increasing the fat in the liver is going to cost you, because yes, your body can heal and repair itself, but it's not going to get back to the point where it was before. Now, the big problem with that is because once you start seeing these things show up on blood work, how your practitioner interprets this is going to be different, and their recommendations are going to be different. You have a small amount, unfortunately it's a small amount, that's going to tell you to improve your diet. Now, their improvement in diet and their health recommendations can be completely off, or may be on point with actual health. Once again, that all depends on the practitioner. So too many things depends on the practitioner. I need you to get to the point where it only depends on you, your level of knowledge. And that's why, we make these videos. That's why we do the challenge. That's why we make the blogs. That's why we do the posting on our Instagram and our Facebook. This is why we're doing it, because I need for the community to be empowered with this information. I need for the community to be their own primary care practitioner. Self-care is the theme of the day. We have to get back to that point. And so if the practitioner is looking at this blood work and they have no knowledge of fatty liver, or they don't know that fatty liver has to take place before insulin resistance, their advice may be one that's medicinal. Let's get you started on medications, metformin. Their advice may be something that does not help you progress as far as health. It may help you lose weight, but it may not help you actually improve your health. We have to understand that there's a gap between weight loss and health improvement. Just because you lose weight doesn't mean that you improve your health. But when you improve your health, you will have a natural weight loss. Yes, it may not be as fast as you want it to be, but it is on time. It is on time. It is on the schedule that your body needs it to be. So there's many things you can take to lose weight, but once again, all those things are not healthy. So that's something we have to understand as well too. So insulin resistance, when insulin resistance is allowed to just continuously progress, regardless if you're seeing it on your blood work or not, insulin resistance is the ground zero for erectile dysfunction. It is ground zero for endothelium dysfunction, which is ground zero for atherosclerosis. Insulin resistance is the ground zero for amputations, because you think about what causes someone to have amputations is because of improper blood flow or inadequate blood flow. What causes the inadequate blood flow? Diseased vessels. What causes diseased vessels? Endothelium dysfunction or damage. What causes that? Most times it's going to be insulin resistance, but the insulin resistance is something that has to be there for a while. So if we had to talk in a form of banks, allowing, waiting to improve your health to a certain day on your calendar or a certain time in your year, it's like adding money to the insulin resistance fund. You have an insulin resistance fund foundation in your body, and we should make it empty. Like, we should actually bankrupt it. But when we say, I'll get to it next year, I'll get to it next quarter, you're just adding to the foundation. And that foundation is going to be empowered, and that foundation is going to progress its movement of amputations, erectile dysfunction, heart attack, stroke. And yeah, we can work on it, we can improve it, we can reverse it. But the work that's going to be required to reverse it will be more, because you've allowed it to go on so far. So I say all that to say this: don't wait, do it now. Diseases have no idea about a calendar. This Monday, next month, next year, no, today. And that's one of the best things about fasting, is because it's so flexible. You can literally stop fasting right now. Just be like, I'm not gonna eat. What's the last time I ate? 8 o'clock in the morning. All right, I won't eat until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Or where you feel comfortable, just get started. But I'm just saying all that to say this: there's a price to procrastination. There's a price to procrastination, and that price is the progression of diseases and conditions. Every time you procrastinate, you allow the pathology to progress. Therefore, when it's time for regression or reversal, when you want to start to, sorry about that. So when it comes time to regression or reversal, you're going to have to pay a bigger price to now get the results that you want. You're going to have to put in way more work and dedication. It's kind of like, not buying a house when it was at a lower price, even though it had high value in it, and waiting till the interest stacks up on it, and then trying to buy it then. You're going to pay a higher price. And you have to be careful with that price, because that price may get to a point where it causes so much damage to your kidneys, and that's something else we need to know. One of the reasons why they say type 2 diabetes is the #1 cause for kidney damage, kidney failure, and then dialysis, it's not just because of the high sugar content. It's not just because of the high glucose. The high glucose is a problem, but what's even more of a problem is the high insulin. Now, those who are going to think about it a little bit more, that may bother you a little bit, because many of us are taking medications to increase our insulin. Many of us are also taking injections to increase our insulin in order to deal with the high glucose. So the high glucose is a problem for the kidney because it overworks the kidney, because your body's going to purposely direct the heightened levels of glucose to the kidneys, so the kidneys can now excrete it throughout the urine. And that's going to overwork the kidneys. It's going to be very taxing on it, and so you're now going to have a kidney doing almost quadruple the amount of work in one day that it should be doing. However, the insulin, on the other hand, the insulin causes damage to the endothelium. High insulin levels causes damage to the endothelium. So when we're talking about damage to the endothelium, we're talking about diseased arteries. We're talking about arteries that are going to be inflamed, arteries that are going to be that's going to have increase in plaque. We're also talking about blood that is thicker in the viscosity because of the increase in the insulin. And the insulin going through those small arteries, those small nephrons and glomerulus inside of the kidneys, is going to cause that whole entire system to also be inflamed as well too. So yeah, high glucose is a problem for the kidneys, but the high insulin levels is a bigger problem for the kidneys, but also for your cardiovascular system as a whole. It's a bigger problem for the whole entire system. So every day you kick that can down the road of, I'm going to wait till next month to improve it, well, the damage is still occurring to your kidneys. The damage is still occurring to the heart. The damage is still occurring to the arteries in the penis. The damage is still occurring to the arteries in the brain. The damage is still occurring to everything in your body. So once again, I'm not telling you to cold turkey, turn everything around, stop it today. But what I'm saying is that you should start something today that's going to now add to the foundation of health, now add to your health progression. Don't let disease progression just completely wash you up in the game. Like, don't let the disease progression progress so much down the football field to where you're right there on the 1 yard line, and now you want to turn around and get things better. Yo, it's hard to get off that one yard line, because you know what defense they're going to go. They're going to the goal line defense and the goal line offense, and that doesn't work out that well often. I mean, you literally need a miracle. You got to try to pull a Hail Mary, try to do a flea flicker out of something, but you're just making it very difficult for yourself. So push back, fight back. Don't allow the disease to just progress without you doing anything else. Push back, fight back. You can do that by, one, getting more sunlight. I told you sunlight is hormone D. We call it vitamin D, but it's hormone D. That's going to improve your health. Drinking water. I don't have any recommendations for any healthy amount of juice. I just don't. Yeah, if you make a smoothie and everything like that, but you need that fiber. You need the phytonutrients that's going to be inside of the fiber. You need the enzymes. You need all those things. So I don't really have any recommendations for a healthy amount of juice. Walking. Start walking. Whether you go up and down the stairs, wherever you work at, whether you do a couple of air squats throughout the day, but just do something to get moving way more than what you are doing now, because like I said, sitting down is stressful for the body. Fasting. Once again, fasting is extremely flexible. Fasting is something that you can do at any time in the day. You can start fasting right now, or you can start fasting an hour from now, but fasting, you're completely in control. Okay, you're in complete control of your start and your stop, but fasting is something that's going to radically improve your health, especially when we look at doing extended fasting. When we start looking at 2 days, 3 days, and even 5 days. Yes, we have people in our group who will go through and do a 5-day fast together as a community. We support them the whole entire time. And come on. If you're going to ask questions, did they see any differences? Of course, they see differences. Matter of fact, their hands start moving slower. or it feels like it's moving slower, but everything's still in normal motion. But yeah, so that's it. I just want to make sure people, I don't want you to feel comfortable about waiting. All right, don't feel comfortable about waiting to progress your health. So yes, my goal right now is to make us feel uncomfortable with just thinking that we can lay back and relax and chill until next month or next year to improve our health. No, don't just lay back and chill, because the pathology of that disease is going to progress. Once again, just pick one thing that's healthy and make that a habit. Whether that be drinking more water and carrying a water bottle with you all day long, that's a win. Whether it be you doing 50 push-ups broken up throughout the day, that's a win. Whether that be you making sure you walk around your building or your house or your block or anything like that, that's a win. So I'm talking about practical and sustainable things. I'm not talking about going and signing up for a gym. You can do that, but at the same time, I want you to be careful with making that your goal, because we're really good at finding excuses. We're really good at finding excuses. The car didn't work. My car didn't work. Nobody was at the gym. Something. So drop down and give me 20, soldier. Drop down, give me 20 right now. That's hard to make an excuse for. Stop eating. That's hard to make an excuse for. Drink more water. That's hard to make an excuse for. Get out into the sunlight. Now, I get it. A lot of us live in the north, so we may not have access to the sun like that. But if you live in an area where you do have that sun exposure, get out in there, because that's going to help you out. That's going to radically help you improve your levels. So we just have to be very careful with always, trying to maneuver around the things that's going to help us improve. So make sure you all, just get started. Don't wait. Don't kick the can down the road. Don't procrastinate. Get started right now, today. All right. So everybody, make sure you remember, click the link in the description if you want to sign up for the challenge we have coming up. So we don't have too much longer to sign up. And once again, what are you waiting for? We have the results, we have the testimonials, we have people, who've lost over, I think the average was 20 pounds weight loss, mental clarity, decreases in their blood sugar, their blood pressure, health improvement overall. So it's not a matter of does it work. I mean, I guess you can still ask that question, but we just let our numbers speak for us, all right? But when it comes to, your practitioner and your health insurance, what numbers are they letting speak for them? Other than the management. And those numbers don't speak to a decrease in mortality and morbidity. However, when you can naturally, without taking anything, bring down the blood pressure, the blood sugar, the cholesterol, and the weight in a natural fashion where the body has actually done this for itself, that is where you see the decrease in mortality and morbidity. That's the only place you're going to see decrease in mortality and morbidity, is when the body does it for itself, not when it's chemically induced. The chemical induced quote-unquote improvement does not correlate with health improvement. It does not. Okay, and you can I did a video called Better Medication or Better Education. You can check out that video, and you can go and see where I show you pretty much where to go to look those references up and to actually read more about it. So that's somewhere on this page as well too. You can definitely check that out. All right, but at the end of the day, why wait? All right, why wait? Today's the day, right now. Don't push the can down the road. Don't kick it down the road. All right. So I'll be back on here later on, talk about something else, and I'll holler at y'all later. All right. Peace.